Hello everyone, welcome back to Craft Aquatic. I'm Matt G. Today we visit Wet Pets in Vernon, Connecticut, and I purchased the Coral View Lens version 2 for my iPhone and share my first impressions with you. So here we are at Wet Pets. They are located at 520 Hartford Turnpike in Vernon, Connecticut. And coming into the store, you're just immediately immersed in the light of all these aquariums. It's a cozy store, it's not too big, but it's full of all of these interesting displays and holding tanks, both fresh and saltwater. This is the huge frag tank that greets you immediately as you enter the store, and it is jam-packed with coral. And I'm showing this to you right now. Again, I have literally not bought my Polyp Lab Coral View lens yet. This is just my iPhone. I'm going to do this whole video today with my iPhone rather than the cine camera I usually use to shoot these videos, just so you can see how this works out. And look at these freshwater displays, they're beautiful. This tank caught my attention right away. I do love freshwater, even though I'm primarily a saltwater guy. Display tanks like this are really important. They show new hobbyists what they can do with easy to keep fish and plants. It's a foot in the door to the hobby. Here we have these freshwater stingrays. These are in the back of the store, and I just wanted to point these out because they kind of have similar pattern to some chalice, popular chalice coral out there. So I thought that was interesting. They're beautiful anyway. And here again we have a beta setup, a really well-filtered beta setup, which I appreciate. It seems these get neglected often. And turning now to the front of the store, there's Donnie, the owner, with his very cute and inquisitive daughter. Here we have a nice, colorful cichlid display, and then some more freshwater aquariums. Looks like there's cichlids in there, and then back there we have this beautiful freshwater tank. Again, I want to spend a little time on these displays because I think they are so important. This is why fish stores, for me at least, are so relevant, because I can bring someone here, a young person, old person, it doesn't matter, and just say, hey, look at this. You don't want to do saltwater, I know it's a little intimidating, but you know, you could have this planted display up and running with all these beautiful little fish. It's much less of a barrier to entry, but these planted tanks are still a challenge. You're learning a lot, and you have something to show off in your living room or dining room to your guests. And you get to choose from a nice variety of freshwater fish, which tend to be a little less expensive than saltwater and still have a ton of personality of their own. This is the seahorse display at the front of the store, tucked into a little nook in the little cranny. There's, like I said, there's a lot to discover here, and who doesn't love a seahorse? Wet Pets has no shortage of dry goods in stock and ready to go. Here's some beautiful hardscape, and they had a great selection of frozen food when I went. That is super important to me. And this separate area here, which has all the food, cleaning supplies, medication, pretty much everything else you'd need for maintenance, husbandry, and setting up an aquarium. And one last look at the store with my iPhone before we unbox this Coral View Lens version 2 by Polyp Lab. Here's the box, and let's see, we have a filter here. This is supposed to be a polarizer and a yellow filter that will filter out the blue light. Here's the clip. Looks like it will work with even the new iPhone, and that is a magnifying lens. And they give you this little lens cap, which is cute. I don't know if I'll use it, but it's neat. And let's see here. This cloth, of course, you need to make sure all your optics are nice and clean. So there you go. There's everything all lined up and ready to go. Let's give it a shot. The first thing that I did was pointed at these zoanthids, and then over here this tank was lit with some white light. It's not looking as great, but when I come over to the frag display, wow, what a difference. Look how deep in color these LPS and SPS coral compared to this is without the lens. And here, back with the Coral View lens on, the colors are saturated, rich. There's no processing happening here. Walking over, just pull the lens off. You can see what happens with the light between having it on and having it off. This is with it on. And to be clear, this is my first time using this filter, so I could be doing some things differently if I knew a little more about it, but this tank feels a little underexposed. It is lit with much lower power than the big frag display up front, and I'm liking the color of these yellow tanks a little bit better with the lens off. So we'll just move over here and throw it back on. These tanks are also lit a little more dimly than the other tanks, and that is probably purposeful. These coral like the lower light, and you don't really need to blast frag tanks with a ton of power. You just want to keep them healthy. So maybe this lens would be better in a situation where you were filming a full-on display rather than the back corner, very interesting back corner of a reef store. So here we're getting a little better exposure as I move up. Down low in the tank, it's just cutting out too much light for the iPhone. And again, this is an older iPhone. I can only assume that the newer ones with their better cameras are going to give you some more options as far as exposure is concerned. Moving on back to the main display, more light equals better saturation, better exposure. We're getting the colors. This is looking pretty good. So I wanted to make sure to get a couple shots with that macro magnifying glass lens on, and here are the results. I'm a little closer to the coral, can see a little bit more detail, so let me take it off and show you the difference here, and there you go. If you can't tell already, I'm really digging the Scully and most of the LPS in this tank. So how am I feeling about the Coral View lens version 2? It's pretty convenient. Coral looks great on its own if it's healthy. It doesn't need much help. But if I want to bring out some of those yellow and green and orange pigments, there's nothing like a yellow filter. And this Coral View lens is super convenient. I know we can use pretty much any yellow filter to have the same effect. But when it comes to just needing something that's going to work quick, a well-designed clip-on filter is much more convenient. I can absolutely see using this alongside my DSLR rig in future videos. Thank you to Donnie and all the folks at Wet Pets who let me come in and film your beautiful store. And be sure to check out the Skog Soggy Socks YouTube channel in the description below if you're into freshwater shrimp. Remember, when it comes to reef keeping, nothing good happens fast.